everyone, so I'm doing it again. I collaborated with two other creators, Fallon from So Be It Quilts and Michelle from The Simple Quilter. We are going to be doing the Thrifty Notion Challenge box. Now, we're not sponsored by Thrifty Notions at all. We purchased this ourselves. Fallon introduced me to this company. It's a really great website. I love it because there's all kinds of sewing and crafting notions on this website, and they're all like thrifted or I guess things that would have been discarded, so it's like an upcycle type thing. And one of the things that they have on this website are challenge boxes. So I bought a Christmas themed craft box. It doesn't have any fabric per se, at least in the picture there wasn't. Let's open it up and see what's inside, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make a crazy Christmas quilt stocking. A crazy quilt Christmas stocking. Is that what I said? I think that's what I said. We're going to make a stocking using a crazy quilt idea out of it. I already saw what was inside this on the picture, but it's different seeing it in real life. All right, so I have this holiday wreath, glitter. Oh boy, I don't think I'll be using this. I'm going to set aside. Bells, buttons. All right, I like the little containers. Oh, some silver bells, some white and red bells, pipe cleaners. Oh, look at that. They're like old pipe cleaners. I wonder what I can do with those. Here's some ornaments. Of course, these are going to go on my sewing room tree. These are really cute. Oh my goodness, I love them. All right. Got some sequins. Looks like quite a bit of sequins. There's another little container of sequins, all Christmas themed. Some white sequins. Oh, cute. A little quilty stocking. It doesn't open up or anything, but that's kind of really cute. I like that. I got this little, I guess, oh, a card. Oh, cute. Bob and Leona from Dale and Mary. How cute is that? And then I got these, they're mittens, I think, is what I saw. I'm going to see what they are. So they are mittens. So that's kind of like fabric. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess. Oh, there's some little mini ones. Oh my goodness, look how cute they are. They could be appliqued on or something. Oh, okay, I got some ideas going there. Got this little spray, little white pearl typey things. And then this looks like one of those, like a scrapbooking type kit, but there's some stuff in there I might be able to use. Okay, more sequins. I've never really worked with sequins, so that should be interesting. And it looks like some things to glue on, which we'll see where that goes. Here's some stickers, some cardstock type thing. And then it looks like maybe some gift tags. So this is a holiday card making kit. It's not scrapbooking, but close enough. We'll see if we can incorporate some of this stuff or be creative with it. Overall, there's quite a bit of stuff here. I probably won't use the glitter just because I'm not sure exactly how to use that on something fabric. So we'll put that aside. We'll see about these. These I'm definitely going to use. The bells are a little big, but we'll see. Definitely the buttons. I think we could have a lot of fun doing something with these buttons. I almost feel like I have to use the sequins because I got so much of it. So we'll see what that's like sewing that on. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Oh boy, what have I got myself into? So let me move this stuff out of the way and I'll show you what I got at the yard sales this past weekend that kind of made me make my decision on what to make. This isn't from a yard sale. This actually came from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this as my either base or pattern once I open it up. It was only $1. I bought it last Christmas. This is going to be a great at least template or base for my stocking that I'm going to make. At the yard sale, I got a whole bunch of ribbon. Look at this. This is like really pretty. And I think I paid 50 cents for that. And then I got some fabric. I always am finding fabric at yard sales. I found this apron that has a Christmas theme to it. This was $1, which was a little much, but I fell in love with it and I thought that would be really cute. on a Crazy Quilt Stocking. I also found this one. This is handmade. Look at this. This is such a great apron. I love the fabrics. And this is just a really good tip that if you're looking to use old fabrics, look at aprons. Sometimes you can get these really inexpensively. Sometimes usually they are handmade, and they're so cute, and you can use the fabric. I also got a bundle here. This was $1, as you can see, of this cute old Christmas fabric. Love it. I don't know how much is here. I'll put it up on the screen once I measure it, but quite a bit. There's quite a bit of fabric here. And then I got this green ticking. Very cute. And then these 2 pieces. 2 or 3, they're squares. Actually, there's quite a few. 2 different patterns. Adding to this, let me move this out of the way. I also have a bunch of vintage Christmas fabrics that I'd like to incorporate, at least some of these, into this. So we need a base for our stocking. And like I said, I got this at the Dollar Tree. My first step is to open this up and to see what we're working with. I have a feeling this felt might be a little too flimsy and unstable, so I might be making an actual pattern out of this. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Oh, cool. Look at that. There's a cardboard piece in there. That would make a great template. Let's see. I'm going to turn it inside. Okay. Oh, this is perfect. So like I suspected, this is a little flimsy for a base. I could put some interfacing on it, but I think I'm just going to seam rip this open. I'd have to do that anyway if I were going to use this. I'll make some pattern pieces. This is the front side of the stocking, and I took 2 pieces of freezer paper. This is going to come in handy later. It will all make sense. I took them and put them right sides together, or I guess, is it the wrong side? I don't know. The waxy part together, because I need opposites. So we need one going this way and one going this way, front and back. Normally I would use a pencil to mark around this, but I'm going to use a Sharpie so you guys can see it. There was also a cuff on it. I don't know if I'll use this or not. I'm going to set it aside in case I decide to, but right now I'm going to just cut out my pattern pieces on the line all the way around using paper scissors. And I'm going to try to keep these together. Actually, you know what? We're going to staple them so they stay together. That way it won't move. So now I have 2 pieces that are opposites. And I have 2 pieces of batting that are the size of my stocking pieces, which is 18 by 11.5. Now, that all depends on whatever stocking you use for a template, and there are plenty of free templates out there. I learned when I made the double-sided table runner to starch this, so these have been starched and are a little bit stiffer. I like that. If you don't have batting or scrap batting that has much body to it, you could either use spray starch or you can put an interfacing on it, something that's going to give it a little bit more body as we build this project. Okay, I'm so excited about this project because the more I pull out of my stash and the stuff I've been looking through, wait till you see what I found. I have all kinds of trim, which I'll show you once we get to that step when we put the trim on. I also found a bunch of different fabrics. I found this red that was part of a napkin that I took apart right here. I also had this bizarre piece of a quilt block that I got at a yard sale in a grab bag. I found this fabric and so much more. I also found a table runner that I had purchased probably at a yard sale or a thrift shop that is very stained, and I love that it has like embroidery on it. So this might have to make it in. Another thing I want to talk about is that a traditional crazy quilt has all kinds of different types of fabric. I am not going to do that. I'm even not going to take apart those aprons because honestly I fell in love with them and I just want to keep them as is. So most of the stuff, I would say 90% of everything that's going on this is cotton, with the exception of some of the embellishments. So right now we are going to build. And we are building on our pieces of batting that we cut. We're going to do a stitch and flip method right on this. Let's get started. Baking this is so much fun. Okay, so I have everything ready to go. I have a bunch of the fabrics. I have one of my bases. I'm gonna work on one at a time. Scissors, rotary cutter, and some rulers for trimming if I need to. So what we're gonna do is start in the upper middle-ish of this panel. I don't like to do it right in the center. I just don't like the look of that. If you do, that's fine. But we're going to start up here, and I'm just going to pick one of my fabrics. Let's go. I love this fabric. Isn't this pretty? I'm going to just cut a chunk of that off to use. This is kind of a messy process, so if that's not your thing, this might not be for you, but I think it's a lot of fun because it really allows for creativity. I'm just going to lay it slanted. Gives it a better look, in my opinion, but there's so much freedom in this, however you want to do it. I'm going to add a pin. And actually, this piece is kind of big. I'm going to cut that down a little. And just put this aside because I can use that somewhere else in this project. And again, I don't want to stay right in the middle this way or this way, so I'm kind of going off to the side up on an angle. And I'm just going to pin that first piece in place. You're not going to have to do that the whole time. Next, I'm going to take a piece, I think, of this red. I really like this red. Give it a little press. And I'm going to put this right sides together. I'm just moving that pin for a minute. And then I'm going to pin it like this. And I'm going to sew right along this edge. So this is sewn, and I'm just going to flip it over, finger press it with my iron, and keep on building. So let's see, I have this piece already cut. Let's use that. I'm going to put that right here, right sides together. I'm going to put it at a little bit of an angle. Oh, and I'm going to sew. Sew right along this edge. Okay, the next one's on, and we press. Get that up on there and press down. Now, because this dark red might shadow through, we can trim that, and we can do that a few different ways. You can just use a ruler and trim that down like this. Or if you have it, you can use what's called an add a quarter ruler, which is really nice. It has a lip on the one end, and I'll link one of these in the description. And just trim that away. Push this back. And when you trim that, you might have to pull out some of these stitches right here, which is no big deal. You can just take a seam ripper and do that. And then press. And you're just going to keep going. You're building this with the stitch and flip method until you get the whole thing covered. Okay, so here, because I want to place something on this long edge, I'm going to make sure it's long enough. That's definitely going to be long enough. Do you think this is a little wide? So let's cut some of that down. And place that there. So I'm cutting down a chunk of this block. I like it a lot. I think it'll look really cute on this. And this is a spot where we might need a piece to go here, which is fine. And let's see, I think I'm going to use this one. That'll give me enough, maybe. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to stitch this to this, flip it, and then I'll have a nice big piece. Okay, I'm going to flip that. And you know what? I just remembered we have that embroidery piece. I really want to use this, and I don't think I'm going to be able to use the whole thing. So let's just cut this down some. I know it's so hard to cut these, but this one really is in terrible shape. There's lots of holes and terrible stains that I've already tried to get out. So I'm going to cut one of these. Look away if this is going to bother you. Okay, it's over. So I kind of want it to be in here. So to do that, I am going to have to do some seam ripping, which is not a big deal. And I also need to make this guy a little bit bigger. Now it is kind of off-white. Now I'm wondering if I should even use it. Nah, we're going to use it. We're going to see what it turns out to be. So I'm going to build this up just by sewing some pieces to it to make it a little bigger. And I'm going to continue with the theme of having it offset, not straight. I'm just going to trim away. I know it's hard, but you know what? We're giving this embroidery piece a new life. That's good. Now that I have this unit all put together, I am going to straighten up the edges. Makes it a little bit easier. And I'm going to put that, oh, it's gonna reach. It's not gonna be a problem. Let's see, how do we want this? I do want it kind of like that, so I'm gonna do it like this, and then we're gonna seam rip those out. Can't find my other one, so I'm gonna use this one. And I'm just gonna go in here and open up these seams that we sewed. And you can be a little bit more organized with this than I'm being, but you know, I love this creative process. This is kind of what my jam is, so that's how I work. If not, you can lay the whole thing out and decide what you want where, and you wouldn't have to do some of this extra steps that I'm doing, although I don't mind. Okay. Pull that back. I'm also going to make sure everything is laying flat and out of the way. And this one, I'm just going to use this ruler. It's right here, and cut. And I'll save these maybe for a crumb project. Here we go. Not quite totally cut, but that's okay. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Oh, I love it. I'm glad I went with it. All right, I'm going to keep building this, and then I'll meet you back here when I have both of the panels built and ready to go. And we'll start embellishing and making our project. Oh my goodness, look at these. Oh, the panels look so nice. Look at that. I love them. Now remember, we're going to embellish these too. So any blank space like right in here, we're going to put buttons and ribbons and all kinds of stuff. Our next step is to trim these down so the fabric is even. Let me move this one with the edge. And that's just going to help us when we're lining up our template. So I'm just going to make sure it's nice and flat and trim it off using a rotary cutter. Now you can see that I didn't make it to the edge exactly on all of them, so I'm a little off there. That's not going to be a big deal. Here's a better view of that. That's not a big deal. It was close enough. So let me just trim these down, and I'll show you our next step. And this in no way needs to be perfect. It's just a rough cut. So now we have our panel ready to go. Once we have our panel ready, our next step is to take our freezer paper template that we had made, and you're gonna put the shiny side down or the wax side down and line it up where we want it. You can kind of see through it, so you can play with it a little. Now I'm going to iron this on, and it's gonna be removable. It's just a little bit of wax that's gonna stick. And I'm just going to iron this on. Like I said, it's removable. In fact, you can reuse this a couple times, which is really nice too. And it just sticks, it melts that wax just enough. Now you have a few options. You can cut around this, using this as your template, or you can even sew a sew line around it. And I like doing the sew line because when we add the embellishments, it tells me where my stocking is going to be, but also allows me a little bit of stability before I cut this backing away. Let me move my pressing mat so you can see better. That way, you know, you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a very large basting stitch with my machine around the edge of this. And I'll be right back. Okay, this is stitched. Hopefully you can see that it's stitched around the edges. You can definitely see it on the back. And unfortunately, this picks up like every piece of lint you could possibly think of. I'm going to pull this off now, see how easily it comes off. And this gives me my guidelines as I'm adding my embellishments. Now I'll go ahead and do it to the other one too, and I'll also cut two opposite pieces for my lining that are the same size, so I'll do that as well. And I think I'm going to use this Santa print because I have a ton of it. But let's talk about embellishments. So I gathered up a bunch of stuff, some from that box and some not. I have a piece of lace here that I might sew on. That would be really pretty. I could also use decorative stitches, which is a lot of fun. Here's another piece of lace. Just have some fun with this. I love this. I have this vintage Christmas lace that I might put on. And I'll even sew it on right here. Wouldn't that be pretty? And I'm gonna just have a lot of fun adding all kinds of embellishment. And again, I'm gonna use these guides on the edges because I know all of this is not gonna be there when I cut it down. This is just gonna help a lot. I also have these sequence pieces, a lot of sequence. Oh, they're the buttons that you saw. I watched a video on how to put sequins on, so I'm going to be doing that by hand. That's going to take a little bit. Definitely, if you're interested in learning how to sew sequins on, check out the video I used, and I'll put the name up here on the screen. I also have all these wonderful buttons. And look at them all. Oh my goodness, they're going to look so pretty on here. I think that it's just going to add and enhance, like we have green ones too. So it'll just add and enhance to this whole thing. And I'm just, like I said, going to have some fun putting these all over. So I'll get busy doing that and meet you back here. Oh my goodness, look, they're done. The panels are done. I love, love, love them. I used the buttons and sequins, and I even embellished with the year on the embroidery. Those little white pearl spray things, I took the little beads off and I put them inside of the sequins. It was fun trying to sew sequins on. I had never done that before. So it's not perfect, but I am in love with this. I think this was so cute and so much fun to make. I also have my pieces cut out for my lining, which are here, and I will show you how to assemble all this and get it put together. So let's go. Here are our panels and here are our lining pieces. And you know, I don't think I did a good enough job explaining the lining pieces. Let's just go over that again. What I did was fold fabric in half, put right sides together, and took my wax paper template that we used to sew around the panel pieces. I just ironed it on and then cut around it. So that gave me two opposite. So you can see how the points of the feet go the opposite way. That's what you want. So I'm going to set these aside for right now. We're going to talk about our panels. If you remember, we sewed around the template. So what we're going to do is flip this panel over and we're going to cut using scissors. You could use a rotary cutter, but I'm going to use scissors because I feel like I'm more accurate with it. And I'm just going to cut really close to that line that I sewed. If it's easier for you, you can take the templates we used, this one, and press it on here, lining it up with our lines, but you need to be careful because some of these embellishments might melt. So I find it easy just to turn it over and cut. So look at that, so cute, so cute. Now one thing I did forget to mention was any embellishments that I put on here, I made sure that I had plenty of seam allowance so I wasn't sewing over a piece of sequins or bead or anything like that. All right, let's do the other one. Oh my goodness, I love them. Aren't they pretty? I just love how they turned out. They're just coming to life and that's so awesome. Now, this is a step that I sometimes forget when I'm making stockings, so it's really important to keep that in mind. I'm gonna add a hanger. So this is about, I don't know, 6 inches. It's just a piece of ribbon that I'm going to use. First, I need to decide how I want it to hang. So if I want it to hang from this corner or this corner. And for this one, I'm going to hang it, I think, right from this corner. Now I want to make sure that this is away from this edge that's going to be in our seam allowance, but I also want to make sure that it's going to hang nice. So once I sew this down and it's open, I think it'll hang really well there. We'll see. And if I made a mistake, we might take the whole thing apart and have to fix it. So I'm just going to baste this or stitch it down to keep it in place. And I'm going to stay within a 1/4 inch seam allowance and just trim off the excess. When that's open, that'll be nice. That'll look really cute. All right, so it's time to build. You know what, I am gonna put a pin in here just to keep it out of the way too. I like to lay it out first because it helps me. So when I have my stocking together, this also allows me to see if I cut everything right. It's gonna look like that. All pieced together. Okay, this helps me, just laying it out like this. It makes it so I don't make mistakes. So I have the front or one side, because I guess it is reversible, you could turn it around. I have one lining piece lined up, so it's like our front piece. We're gonna call this the front piece. And the same thing on the back. I just have it lined up as best as possible. It's not perfect, but that's okay. There we go. And then I put it together like this so I can get a visual of how it's going to look when it's put together. Then I'll take the front 2 pieces, or what I'm calling the front 2 pieces. That's the lining and the front. And I'm going to lay it like this. And again, this just helps me make sure everything is right. And then I flip it like this. And we are going to sew right along this top edge. I'm going to put some clips in, make sure it's lined up. And stitch right along that edge. I'm going to do the same with my back, or what I'm calling the back. Lay it out, flip it, and I'm going to stitch across that top edge. So again, right sides are together. My lining with my back, my lining with my front. And I'm going to stitch. I just took my iron and pressed along that edge. Now you have to be careful. If you have any embellishments or sequins or stuff that will melt, you have to be careful with that. So carefully press that. Oh my goodness, it's turning out so cute. What we're going to do next is just simply take one side and put it on top of the other side. Just like that. You can see the other sides like this. And they line up mostly, not a huge deal, don't stress about it. And we are going to clip and pin all around this edge. Now we're going to leave a space somewhere in this stocking bottom, the lining. In fact, I'm going to put it right here at the foot. I'll mark it here with a pen. I'm going to leave an opening, I don't know, this is pretty bulky. I'll probably leave it, what is that, 3 inches. So I'm going to leave a 3-inch space, and this is going to allow me to turn this once I have it all sewn together. And I'm going to use this 1/4 inch seam allowance and sew all the way around this, leaving this space open. So I'll start here, go all the way around until I hit that other line, and then I'll show you what we do next. Okay, now I have it all clipped and pinned, but I did notice as I was pinning it, we were a little off down here at the toe. So I'm going to go in and just trim that up so it's even. So I'm just going to go in and trim this up so it's even. Not a big deal. That's much better. There we go. And reclip. Okay, so now I'm going to sew all the way around, leaving my opening, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so it is all sewn together, and you know what? I made a rookie mistake. I did not put my walking foot on when I sewed this. I really should have, because I can see that I have some wonkiness and things shifted, but I think it's going to be okay. I hope it's going to be okay. All right, our next step, and I always try to do this, is to turn it first to see if it's okay, and then turn it back and then start trimming, because I've learned over the years that it's just the best practices. I think my hole is a little small. You know what? I'm going to open that up just with some seam ripper. I do back stitch at the beginning and the end, but it's really not a big deal because we can just stitch that closed. All right, that's a little bit better. I can get my hand in. So I'm going to reach in, turn it. Again, I like to test it before I start clipping corners and edges and stuff. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Did I catch everything? Looks like I did there. Okay, I can take this pin out for our hanger. Look at our hanger. All right, so let's turn it back around and we'll clip. Now that it is all turned back around, I just go in and snip those curves. And that helps everything lay flat. I'll also trim them down some if I need to. And it's really important not to go into your sew line. And I find that this gets very bulky right here, right in that curved edge, and I'll trim that down and clip it. And I'll do the same thing to the lining, although that's not as critical because it's not as thick. There we go. All right, we're going to turn it back around and finish it up. I just love it. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. So our next step is just to press this as carefully as possible because we want to stay away from any embellishments. And just push that out. Make sure it's the shape we want. Right, it's all pressed. Okay, and then we just take this lining piece and push it inside. And I hold on to the heel so I can push out the toe. We'll close up that hole too, but right now we're just going to top stitch and get everything all set. Closing up that hole is the last thing I do. All right, now here at the top, I'm going to make sure that's laying flat all across the top there. And I'm also going to press that really, really well. Oh my gosh, I love it. So this is all done, pressed, everything's pressed inside. I did have to snip off an embellishment right here that was gonna be in the way of our next step, but that was no big deal. So now I'm just gonna go to the machine and do a top stitch around this edge and we are finished. Yay! So all I'm going to do is sew around this edge. Now I don't have a free arm on this machine. So what I have to do is stitch in here and go around. Now I like to start at a seam just because it's less noticeable if you kind of mess it up a little bit, which hopefully I won't. I'm going to put this underneath and I'm going to stitch 1/8 of an inch in. We're going to start that like right there. I'm also going to adjust my stitch length to 3 for top stitching. And I stitch around. Now when you get to the side with your hanger, make sure that that hanger is out of the way as you stitch. And that's it. It is done. I had so much fun making this project. I hope you check out Fallon's video and Michelle's. They both should be up now, and I will put links to their videos in the description and in the first comment. I had so much fun embellishing this. Put the little sequins berries and all the stars and embroidered the year. It was so much fun. And you could do this with any fabrics and any notions you have. It would be a wonderful memory stocking. You could do all kinds of laces and trims and buttons maybe that mean a lot to you. Anything's possible. You could even embroider names on it. They're so much fun and the opportunities are endless with this one. Make sure to let me know in the comments if you're going to try making one of these. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you take some time to sew and I'll see you real soon. Bye.